Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Fixing Diablo 2. Today we're going to be covering one that's probably not going to be a very long video. Prayer. Prayer is actually a really interesting aura. It gives you regeneration. The regeneration that it gives you is a passive regeneration that basically passes on to cleansing and meditation and makes cleansing and meditation actually pretty amazing. But what is the problem with prayer, and why am I even addressing prayer? Well, the problem with prayer is that it costs mana. The mana cost on prayer makes the ability into one of those ones that you really just don't want to use ever. On top of that, it just keeps sucking up mana, and it never stops, literally to the point where it will just completely consume every single point of mana that you have. And the really bad thing about prayer is that it's outclassed by the other two auras in the same dojank. So if I put a point in prayer, let's say I put 20 points in prayer, well, I get 39 heal, right? Well, if I put 1 point in cleansing, cleansing now has the same 39 heal that prayer has, right? But here's the problem, okay? Here's the big issue, right? If I put cleansing on, cleansing doesn't cost me any mana, and I still get the regeneration, right? So I get the regeneration without having to have the thing. And let me show you, I can show you the regeneration. Let me turn my chair a little bit. So you can see, I'm regenerating, right? No mana cost. So I can literally get the effect of prayer without actually using prayer. At early levels, it's completely and utterly useless because it drains your mana ridiculously fast. As you can see here, the mana cost per second on prayer when it starts to get maxed out is 5.8 per second, which will very quickly drain your mana down to nothing as a low-level character. Paladins only have like 15 mana when they spawn in at level 1. And even if you put points in mana, you're not going to have the mana to actually use this ability, which basically makes prayer a useless ability unless you're willing to like go to town, buy like an entire inventory full of mana potions and just chug them. And for what is the purpose? Just to regenerate life. Another issue with prayer is that it continues to suck away your mana even after your health is full. I mean, look at my mana. It's still going down. My health is full. Like, I've already regenerated everything. Still sucking my mana down, though. And this is just how, unfortunately, prayer works, is that prayer has a mana cost to it. But cleansing doesn't. And meditation doesn't. Which begs the question, why does prayer have a mana cost at all? If I could get the same exact regeneration for free from cleansing, why in the world would I ever, and I mean ever, put prayer on? Even in a situation where I might want to put prayer on, I'm never going to leave it on for a prolonged period of time because it's going to continually suck away my mana, and it's going to basically make myself useless, right? This is part of the big issue with early level prayer, is that no low level character really ever wants to put points in prayer. And to exemplify this, let me actually go get a low level character. Let me just create one. I'm going to create a Paladin real quick. That was not the Paladin. We're going to call him the Prayer Paladin. That is already taken. What? I already have a Prayer Paladin? Really? Prayer 2, then. Aye. What's up, Mr. Dusty Boons? What are you doing, Mr. Dusty? He's like a boy. Dusty actually decided to come out for once. So we go out here and we level up our character, right? So we're level 1. We're in the wilderness. You know, we pick prayer as our first ability. You know, whatever. We get our level up. Takes us a minute. You know, smack a couple monsters around, and then what happens? We finally get our level up. So we get our level up, and we put our first aura in, our first skill in, right? So we got prayer. So let's go ahead and put prayer on. Now, watch what happens really quickly with prayer. Doesn't take very long before literally all my mana is going to be completely gone. But let's just let it do its thing. And while we're letting it do its thing, let's see if we can get our second level. So we're gonna go ahead and kill a couple more monsters. Now, while we have mana, it's basically, you know, it's good. Like we got some good little doojags here. We're gonna get some kill you. You know, we got a superior showing more damage on that. And now we're at 0 mana. All right. Now the game has a regeneration system based into it, and as you regenerate, you will, of course, keep regenerating your mana. And so your mana doesn't just stay at 0. However, when you use the prayer aura, your mana does indeed stay at 0. And it will stay at 0 forever with prayer. Prayer will never let your mana go up unless, well, you level up, right? So here we go. I leveled up. All right, so what do I want now? I want something that's gonna, you know, that I can do some damage with. Like, let's say I wanted to grab Smite as an example. Well, Smite costs mana. It's, what is it, like 2 mana per cast, right? So, and now I'm out of mana. This exemplifies exactly what I'm talking about, which is literally that not only does prayer, is prayer basically completely useless at low levels, but the mana cost actually prohibits you from being offensive because it consumes all mana and keeps your mana constantly empty, which means you basically never have any mana to do anything with. On top of this, it doesn't actually heal while it's consuming your mana. So while your HP is full, it just continually consumes your mana, despite the fact that you're literally already at full HP. It wouldn't be so bad if it consumed your mana, if literally it would stop when your HP bar is full, because that would make more sense, right? You're continually, you know, building up your health, right? And as your health reaches full, when it finally reaches full, it stops. But it doesn't stop. It just keeps freaking going. It just keeps sucking your mana away like some sort of like gold-digging woman who wants every penny that you got in your bank account, and your car and your boat and your house and your kids and everything. And then once she's got it all, then she applies for child support and alimony. You know, it just doesn't ever stop sucking away your mana. So 2 potential fixes for this ability. One is just simply to remove the mana cost entirely, which that would be my choice. It doesn't need to have the mana cost, especially if you're going to have cleansing and meditation both have access to prayer, the regeneration from prayer. There's absolutely no reason for prayer to have a mana cost. Let it be free. It's fine. Just give the passive regeneration free with no mana cost, because cleansing gets it for free with no mana cost, and meditation gets it for free with no mana cost. On top of this, prayer has another issue besides the mana cost problem, and it's a very simple issue, is that prayer doesn't really do anything special that the other auras do. So in the case of meditation, you get the regeneration plus you get mana regeneration, right? In the case of cleansing, you get the regeneration plus you get a removal of poisons and lower curses. It's actually kind of crazy how much better cleansing and meditation are over prayer, in every single conceivable way, including the fact that they provide the same bonuses that prayer do with an additional something else, right? So here's my thinking when it comes to prayer. I would like to see the regeneration rate on prayer doubled, but only for prayer. So cleansing and meditation could still technically get the regeneration rate exactly as they do now, no change. But they would not get the full amount that prayer has. So prayer can, I think it's like something like, let me go grab my Paladin here real quick. So in this particular case, you can see that prayer does 39 heal, right? And cleansing gets 39, and meditation gets 39. So here's my thinking on this. Very simple. Double the prayer from 39, or let's just say it's 40. Let's round it up to 40. Double it from 40 to 80. But cleansing and meditation still get 40, right? So in this particular case, you would have a additional reason why prayer might be a little bit better than cleansing and meditation. So just separate prayer out a little bit. Give it something extra that gives you a reason why you might actually, for some reason, put the aura on, as opposed to cleansing or meditation. Cleansing and meditation are still going to win in the majority of scenarios, because cleansing is amazing because it removes poisons and it also removes curses, right? Meditation is amazing because it helps with mana regeneration, and both of these they're never going to be outclassed. They're still going to be amazing, auras. And I keep saying curses, don't I? They're always going to be amazing auras. All right. I think I need to go back to bed because I can't. I think for like every video I've recorded, I keep saying curses instead of auras. Mr. Dusty, can you just bop me on the head every time I say curse instead of aura? Okay, yeah, sound good? All right, good. But it would give prayer something additional beyond what the others are capable of. Now, I do know that this might cause some issues with like the triple regen setup. I think if they're all the same level and they all provide the same amount of regen, they stack on top of each other or whatever, it could be an issue there. But strip the mana cost away. Just take it away completely. If you don't want to take away the mana cost, at least make it so that it stops draining mana when my life is full or when I'm in town. Like, I shouldn't have my mana just constantly be at 0 like all the time just because I'm using the prayer aura. It's actually quite sad at how effective prayer is at just ripping away every single bit of mana that you have. Other than that, there's really not a lot more to go over with this ability. Take away the mana cost. Allow it to have some sort of beneficial factor above cleansing and meditation. Like, for instance, maybe, like I said, double the regeneration. But don't give that double regeneration to cleansing or meditation. Because if you do, well, then you've just put it right back to square one. And this would affect, of course, the prayer merc as well. The prayer merc would get additional regeneration from that, which is certainly not terrible. The regeneration would apply to everyone around you, which is certainly not terrible either. And it would actually make a reason for some low-level characters to actually put points into prayer, utilize it up until a certain point, and then maybe start putting points into cleansing, which is going to be the superior aura anyway. But at least from between the levels of, what is that? 1 to 12, between the levels of 1 and 12, prayer could actually be useful because it could be a aura. I almost said it. It could be an aura that you can get good usefulness out of to help yourself, help your group. And believe it or not, this actually doesn't work on mercenaries, which is unfortunate. But it's just because they have their own regeneration system that's separate from our regeneration system. It's weird. It wouldn't really change a whole lot either. I think in the grand scheme of things, allowing prayer to be a useful aura is not necessarily going to break the game. It's not going to, like make for crazy, ridiculous builds. It's just going to give you an option early on in the game that actually works, as opposed to an option that consumes all your mana and doesn't work. And I think that's the biggest thing about prayer, is that when you hit 0 mana, it stops working, right? It stops regenerating. So as soon as you hit 0 mana, your regeneration is gone.
I will cleanse this.
So if I'm out here getting beat down, which I don't know if I can get beat down, I got 0 defense. If I'm out here getting beat down, I can't regenerate anymore because I don't have any mana. The ability actually sabotages itself, because literally as it sucks away every ounce of mana that you have, it ceases to work because you have no more mana. It's like a catch-22. It's like one of the most useless auras in the game, because on an actual character, using the actual aura, the way that it consumes all of your mana prevents it from doing the very thing that it's supposed to be doing. It's actually quite silly, but not in a good way. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when we're just talking about the prayer aura. And as always, keep watching.